Last time we had driven from Vik into the eastern fjords and then north on our way to Akureyri to explore the town and the Mývatn geothermal area. On our first day in Akureyri, Greg had a lie-in and I headed up into the hills above the town to get a long run in. Once I was back down, we took a stroll over to the Botanic Garden. This is the northernmost botanical garden in the world, and it was really beautiful. We spent the rest of the day eating food and just exploring the town and enjoying the sculptures and the art on show. The next day was a busy one. We drove over to the Mývatn geothermal area and we started off our day at Dimmuborgir, which has been used in various films and TV shows. We got to Dimmuborgir pretty early, so we were able to experience the Kirkja lava cave without any crowds. Next, we took the hiking path that runs between Dimmuborgir and Høvørfjall. Høvørfjall is what is known as a high tephra explosion crater, and it's about 1 kilometer in diameter. We made our way down from the crater rim and hiked back to the car, where we then drove over to Krafla to experience the stunning blue waters of the crater and then get some really good views over the geothermal power plant in the valley below. On our way back to Akureyri, we stopped at the Foss geothermal river. This river isn't really hot, but it is warm, and it's a lovely place to stop and relax for a little while in the water if you've been exploring the local area. On our last day in Akureyri, we only really had one activity on the cards, and that was to go whale watching. And we got really lucky with what we saw. The humpback whales that live in the fjord are typically younger, and we got to see them practicing behaviours they need to learn to use as adults. We saw a lot of tail slapping, which is a behaviour they practice so that they can talk to each other when the waves are too loud for normal communication. The next morning, I got out for a run to explore the trails and the woodlands to the south of Akureyri before it was time for us to continue on our journey. We were heading to Siglufjörður for a one-night stopover before we carried on south. We started off with a short ferry ride to Hrísey, where we were able to go for a short hike on this small island that is still teeming with bird life. Once we were back on the mainland, we took a short stop at the Caldy Brewery and then continued on to our destination where we would be staying the night. The next day was another long day of travel to get to Snæfellsnes Peninsula, and our first stop was at the Grafakirkja church, the oldest church in Iceland. We also took a long detour to Höfðseyjar, which is a fairly remote location, offering completely stunning views of the surrounding landscape. The rest of our journey to Snæfellsnes Peninsula featured long stretches of gravel road, but eventually we found our way to the village of Grundarfjörður, where we would be spending the next 3 days. Join us next time as we explore the peninsula, and then we begin to prepare to make our way back to Reykjavik.